welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a reading in which you may have two options in life, option A or option B, and you're trying to decide which one might work better for you. So what we're going to do is read 3 cards for option A and 3 cards for option B to see which, might have the better outcome. It may be that you're saying, oh, should I do something or shouldn't I? Should I stay in my job, find a new job, things like that. It's going to be very general because obviously everybody has very different situations and different questions, but here we are. First, you'll want to choose one of these necklaces. Meditate for a moment and see which one speaks the most to you. This is a lotus with some moons. This one is a dragon. This is a Fleur de Lis. This is Aphrodite. So just take a moment. It's not necessarily the necklace that you like the most, so much as the one that you feel drawn to at this moment. So it's not a matter of, oh, I would wear that one. It's more like, this one is calling to me. And you can always come back to this video later and have a different question, and you may have a very different feeling about the necklaces. All right. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, if you chose the Lotus necklace, this is your reading, your option A and option B. So please be clear in your mind which option is which pile as you're asking the question. Ooh, the Star, the 9 of Wands, and the King of Swords. So option A is maybe something you're reaching for, something that feels far away. Somebody may be criticizing you or trying to make you feel like this option is not viable. Maybe they're saying it's not logical, it's not, practical, it's not a reasonable thing. And this 9 of Wands is a very defensive card. It's about holding your own. So I'm not getting a sense that this is necessarily a bad option, but you're facing some opposition to it. Now let's see. The 8 of Cups. The 5 of Cups. And the Hierophant. This one seems less. So the 8 of Cups means walking away from something, usually emotionally, since cups are emotional cards. But the thing is, whenever you're walking away from something, you're also walking towards something, right? The 5 of Cups here is about regret, being sorry for something. And maybe whatever it is you're walking away from, you're sorry to walk away from in this option. The Hierophant, and this is interesting, this is 5 and this is 5. The Hierophant here, he's a teacher, but he's also tradition. It feels like this option, should you take it, will be a learning situation for you. You might find a mentor, but it looks to me like you might be a little sorry for it in the long run. I can't promise you that's the case because the 5 of Cups also always has this, couple cups that are upright, and this person is focused on what they've lost and not looking at what they have. So it's not necessarily, oh, I'm sorry, that's my cat. It's not necessarily that you will be, you'll have some feelings of regret, but it doesn't mean that you don't have what you need, because you do, or you will. My cat's very insistent. He wants to help. Anyway, of the two options, obviously you have to make a decision here as to whether or not to go for it. This is more like stay where you are and hold your own, or maybe fight for what you want. And this is go ahead and leave something behind, maybe a little bit sadly, but in the end, it'll be, you know, a learning situation for you. Hi, so if you chose the dragon, welcome to your reading. This dragon's name is Alistair, by the way. This is an option A, option B kind of reading. You need to decide what each pile of cards stands for, which option each one stands for. 3 of coins, 3 of wands, and Queen of Swords. Okay, so option A is all about laying a foundation of some kind. There's a need for logic. Experience is the best teacher, right? So if you can find somebody who's done whatever this is that you're trying to do, you'll be better off. Don't go into it cold, as it were. Try and find someone to help you, guide you, mentor you, or at the very least, make a solid plan. Be practical about it, whatever it is. Don't act impulsively. Option B, you've got the Chariot. You've got the Queen of Pentacles and the 7 of Wands. All right. So this is, the Chariot is motion. But again, it's about having control of both your horses, both your light and your dark side. It's about balance, keeping in balance in order to make good progress. The Queen of Pentacles is, again, practicality. But she's less logic and more physical comfort. She says, make sure you have the resources, the material resources to do what it is you want to do, that you've put money aside or something. The 7 of Wands is a somewhat defensive card. You can see he's got a wand. There's wands around him. He's literally staving something off. So while this is about building something, and usually cooperation, here I feel is a much more individualistic, going it alone kind of thing, where, you know, you're fighting off something, you're trying to get ahead, and you need to be sure you have the resources. So I think option A is going to be more of a communal feel, and this is a more individual feel. Depending on what it is you're trying to do, you have to decide which of these things you would rather. This will go a little slower. It'll take more time to build. This might go faster. It will be a lonely road though. And you still need to be sure either way that you have a plan and your resources. If you chose the Fleur de Lis, hi, welcome to your reading. This is option A, this is option B. Get clear in your mind which, whatever circumstances you're in, what each of these options stands for. The do, the don't, the yes, the no, whatever it is. Now, I don't look at these cards ahead of time. Ooh, Ace of Wands. So I never know what I'm gonna get until I read them. This is the Knave or the Page of Pentacles. This is the 5 of Swords. Okay. There's a lot of good starting energy here, a lot of good creative energy, enthusiasm, but the Page of Pentacles suggests that you also need to make sure you have resources, or at least plan on how you're going to get those resources. And the Five of Swords gives me pause, because this is winning at any cost. Sometimes underhandedly, sometimes at the expense of losing friends or support. So while there's good energy here, I feel like this is a yellow light, and this is a proceed with caution. The Three of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, wow. So this is all very material based. The Three of Pentacles is about reaching a point in a project, usually a collaborative project, in which you can move on to the next stage. The Two of Pentacles, however, suggests that there's some juggling going on, that there are some other things going on behind the scenes, that, you know, you may have to move money from one place to another in order to achieve the next thing. It just means that you could be distracted by other things. The Eight of Pentacles is a really good card. It means hardworking. It means putting in effort and eventually seeing results from that effort. So this feels like a very work-related or project-related spread. Here is a project, maybe something new that you want to do, but the outcome is perhaps not ideal, or at least you're going to have to sacrifice something to get it, maybe not even for the best. And this is a project that started possibly collaboratively. Maybe you're thinking of going off on your own for something, but you know, and it's gonna hard work is going to be required, but at the same time you're probably going to get better results as well, even though it might take longer to get there. Pentacles tend to be slow moving. Wands and Swords tend to move faster. I mean, if it were me, and I can't tell you what to do because only you know what your question was, but this seems like the safer path. If you're risk averse, if you're more willing to take a risk, you know, it kind of depends on your personality and how you feel about it. But I would definitely, if you do this, I would definitely, you know, proceed with a little bit of caution and try and do things above board. Make sure everything you're doing is legal and ethical and moral, and, you know, sets you up for a good karma. Here is my Aphrodite group. Hello. So, option A and option B. I hope you have it clear in your mind, like which is which. I don't look at these cards until I flip them over, so it may take me a minute to get a sense of what they're saying, but here's the Ten of Swords. Judgment. Okay, 10 and 20. And the Tower. Oh, goodness. Here we've got the Seven of Cups. The Five of Wands. And the Nine of Pentacles. Well, okay. Neither one of these is an easy option, apparently. You've chosen a particularly difficult conundrum. The Ten of Swords is the dark night of the soul. It's being at the lowest. But the upside is it can only get better from there. Judgment is an awakening. It's a sudden aha moment or an understanding, a moment of clarity. And the Tower here, again, it's a lot of people see it as a cataclysmic card, and it can feel like a cataclysm at the time it happens. but usually it's for the best. It's for like the end result ends up being better than it would have been had the tower remained standing. Like, if you imagine it's built on a foundation and it begins to crumble, you go back to the foundation basically, and you have to rebuild, but you can rebuild it better because you've had more experience. This, option is going to bring you clarity and eventually a better outcome, or at least a clean slate. I see this as maybe a clean slate to start over with something. Now over here we have the 7 of Cups, which means lots of options. Sometimes it can mean being distracted by something shiny. The 5 of Wands is conflict or confusion. There could be a question of how best to go about something, particularly if you're working with others and everybody's got a different point of view and a different, idea. But the end result here is the 9 of Coins, which is material contentment. It's having worked hard to achieve a certain, again, it's a foundation. It's a secure foundation. It's just that the need to make good choices and focus and to compromise come before this end result. So either way, it's not going to be easy, but either way, you end up with what appears to be, here you end up with material security. Here you end up with a blank slate to start over with. I think it depends on which of these things is your goal, more or less. This may be where you are now. You may be at like the bottom of the barrel, but sometimes that's when you get the clearest thoughts and you realize you need to tear it all down to the studs. If this were like a housing project, I'd say, yeah, just rip it all down. It's a total, rehab job. And here it's more like you can work with what you have, but you've got to decide what you want to work with and who you want to work with and how you want to do it. It's a bit of a muddle right now, basically. And so you need that focus and you need some organization. You need to, compromise and organize and get everyone on the same page before you can get here. This feels much more like, there are other people involved. This feels like maybe there are other people involved, or maybe this is something you need to do on your own. It's a decision you need to make for yourself. That clarity, that moment of clarity. I mean, you could have a moment of clarity and try and tell other people, wait, I just figured it out. But you may have a hard time convincing them to go all the way back to the drawing board, which may be what you need to do. Whereas with this option, you may not have to go all the way back, but you still have a lot of work ahead of you. So good luck with either one of these. Whatever, sits right with you.